Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a weekly television show called Team Chicago Challenge. My website is teamchicago.tv, teamchicago.tv. Back in 2006, I ran a national endurance at Nelson Ledges. It started at 3:30, ran till 11:30. Daytime, nighttime. I ran across this trophy, and that's why I'm running this clip again, but this is 2005. We are going to 2006. As you can see, Mark Young's beautiful Suzuki when I talked to Mark Young at Mid-Ohio this year, he had that nice Suzuki. You're seeing it right now. This was his last race with that bike, getting ready for the night race. It was a challenge for all of us, all the teams. So in the next 15 to 18 minutes, this is going to be a little bit longer than normal. I'm going to show you a little bit of the practice. We had a practice a week before. I'm going to show you some of the race, 8 hours. So I'll give you the highlights from the race and a little bit of the practice. Aren't You Racing invited Team Chicago. So this should be an exciting 15 to 18 minutes. Team Chicago from the past, 2006. And don't forget my website, teamchicago.tv, teamchicago.tv. The practice at Nelson Ledges was from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock as we see a few bikes on the track. As we see the two riders with Aren't You Racing, they got a great light setup as they come flashing by on their 1000 Suzukis. Right behind them looks like Phil Caldwell on their 5150 Suzuki. I'm happy they invited Team Chicago to come. And earlier I had a chance to talk to one of the riders from Aren't You Racing, Nathan Dressman. So let's go to that interview.
Our team got involved with it about 2.5, 3 years ago. We've had our first full season was last year, and so we've been doing it relatively. We're newcomers, but been around the sport for about 5, 6 years. So putting together this team to see what we can do collaboratively. Our three riders, Nathan Dressman, myself, Randy Sherman, and Mark Crozier, newly signed for this later half of this year. We've got a bunch of folks helping us out this year. We've got MotorX, Bell Suzuki, Leo Vinci, SBS by Parts Unlimited. Well, actually, we spent close to 2 weeks getting ready for this event, and we've got Pia on board, come along with some HID headlamps for us, which they were sporting us last year, but this year we've got a full HID setup, and that's going to definitely improve the visibility, the safety factor, and the lap times. So generally, just hopefully you can get comfortable running at a night's pace, and that's kind of what we're here today to do, to test. We've organized this test. It's August 30th.
Well, as I get ready to take the Team Chicago R6 out, the test, it's starting to get darker out there. Earlier, I had a chance to talk to Jimmy Vandehart, a rider with LOC Endurance.
It's been a pretty good season for us. It's been our first full season doing endurance. We started out the season a little slow. We had a crash the first round at Jennings, which set us back a little bit. The second round at Talladega, we ended up finishing 4th, just off the podium. And ever since then, we've been on the podium at every race. We won our first race at Miller Motorsports Park in Utah. We collected a 2nd at Summit Point 2 weeks ago, which is pretty good. And we're in a 3-way battle for the Middleweight Superstock National Championship this year. For this race, we call it the Xenon Depot. Xenon Depot set us up with some HID light bulb kits. We're running the factory headlight, which we put the HID lights in, and we also got some auxiliary fog lights to go mount where the mirrors mount to kind of point into the turns. And we'll see how it works. That's why we're here tonight, test it out and just see what happens.
Well, as I head out onto the racetrack on the Team Chicago, 4 and 6 prepared Yamaha dealers. Let's check out this road course. I've got the stock headlights as I come to turn 2, and this heads to turn 3, which is the left-hander. I got the stock headlight and one additional light facing right because this left-hand corner, this is the left-hand carousel. In other words, it's a continuous left-hand corner. You can see the reflectors on the inside, and that takes us out back to the big carousel. This is a pretty fast section, but I'm not going very fast. I'm only going out, checking out the track, looking at the reflectors. And now we're getting into the right-hand carousel, and you can see the light on the right-hand side is lighting up that inside, which we did not have last year. Now we're on the back chute. It would take us to the kink. This is the kink in the back chute, and then the other kink, as one bike goes flashing by, this takes us into the other kink, the fast right-hander that leads you to the last few corners. We're coming back towards the pit area. Now there's only 5 teams at this practice. So you'll see during the race with 25, 30, 35, 40 teams, it's gonna be a lot different, but you're gonna have to be up to speed. The last thing you wanna do is someone to run in the back end of you as I head down the front straightaway. Now this is the only place that has lights on the entire track. There will be markers in the inside of the corner, but no lights anywhere else on the track. Back in the pits, I had a chance to talk to Phil Caldwell with 5150.
How's it going, Dan the man?
Not good. How's this bike working? How's the lighting system?
Well, it might be a little too early to tell because we need to experiment a little bit and see what the best setup is, the best angles and so forth.
So I keep this guy here?
Yeah.
All right, go on out then.
If there's no one else, I'll go get them.
All right. Thank you, Nathan, Jimmy, and Phil. As we see the bikes coming to the start, it is 3:30 in the afternoon as we get ready for this 8-hour national endurance. Nelson Ledges 2-mile road course as we get ready for the start. 24 teams lined up and they're ready to go as they wait for the green flag. First wave is off. The second wave is off as we see Speedy Pete on the Team Chicago R6 taking the start out of that second wave. As they head into turn 1 and 2 over towards turn 4, which takes you back to the carousel. The carousel, and that leads you on the back chute. Up front, it looks like Trey Beatty. Trey Beatty and the Vesra Suzuki is charging. He's up front. Right with him, it's like Mark Kozier, and he's on that Aren't You Racing right there also. I think that's Ruben Frankenfield on the Team Velocity R1. Then comes Red Star, 5150. Blue Ridge on that Kawasaki Twin goes flashing by. Team Maxis and Speedy Pete on the Team Chicago. 4 and 6 prepared Yamaha dealers, Race Tire Service Dunlop goes flashing by. Up front, that's Mark Kozier on that Aren't You Racing. Aren't You Racing is now up front, number 5. They're out of Michigan, sponsored by Michelin, Bell Suzuki, Motorex, Leo Vinch, Braking, Sunstar, RK. Right with them, Vesra Suzuki and Team Velocity 1 with Ruben Frankenfield, local hero from Indiana, many, many miles as we see that fast youngster on the Blue Ridge Performance Kawasaki. Earlier I had a chance to talk to some of the riders as we see the rest of the teams go flashing through turn 13. I had a chance to talk to some of the riders back in the pits. So we're going to go to that right now.
My name's Shane Williams. I'm with Deals Gap Racing. We're here at Nelson Ledges for the 8-hour endurance. Running a few hours in a night like we did last year. We got first place here last year. We're looking to do the same this year. We're looking for good weather, and I hope all is well.
I'm Palmer, pit boss for Ridge Racing. Here at Summit Point doing our first 8-hour event here. We did very well at Summit the other weekend. Had second in heavyweight superbike class and 10th overall. Looking for another podium finish here this weekend because you know the money's always good when you get on the podium.
Good luck at Nelson here in the past. Hope to do it again. Hope for a good, safe race. 8-hour endurance, long time in the rain and dark, and we'll just do our best and hope a safe race for everybody.
My name is Jeff Atwell, riding the GSXR 750 for Billy Etheridge with BEI Racing. He invited me to run the Summit round for him here a month or so ago, and he's invited me to finish the remaining races in the 2007 season as well.
Nat'l with 5150 Racing. We here at Nelson for the 8-hour night race. Just finishing up some final touches on our lighting systems. Hope to do pretty good today, running all right times in the the daylight as well as the nighttime. So if we keep it on 2 wheels, and we'll do really good overall.
Mark Crozier with Aren't You Racing. As far as tonight goes, the biggest challenge is going to be the fog and the weather. I think they're calling for some rain. So last night was a little foggy down the back and through the kinks, so that's going to be the biggest challenge. But other than that, I'm looking really forward to riding at night. It's a lot of fun.
Joe Presiano riding for Red Star Racing, and the challenge here is going to be being able to see where you're going, and if it's good weather, it's just going to be the same for everybody, trying to do the best we can.
PD Pete Smockula talking into this cool camera with Dan Schmitt. We're going to have a great time here at Nelson's Ledges Raceway, starting out in the sunlight and riding into the dark. We got 3 old guys riding a fairly new bike. Going to have some fun for 8 hours today.
It's Joe Ball, also glad to be here with Team Chicago. We've had some mechanical problems in the last few rounds, and in our practice day on Friday, we managed to get them all sorted out, so the bike's running great. And we're looking forward to one, having a veteran Pete with us to help us out with the lights and put down some fast laps in the darkness, and 8 hours from daylight into dark at Nelson Ledges.
Thank you, gentlemen. As we swing to the front of the race again, it is Aren't You Racing, Vezra Suzuki, Team Velocity. But at the 1 hour point, it is Vezra Suzuki, Aren't You Racing, Team Velocity, 5150, Red Star, Velocity Crew, Max's, Delke, Blue Ridge, and Ghetto Custom. That's how the top 10 are running after 1 hour right here at Nelson Ledges, the WERA National. And now it's my time to take the Team Chicago R6 out on this 2-mile road course in eastern Ohio. And by now, this is Velocity Crew Racing, number 12. Kevin Perkins on the Pirelli, Loudon Motorsports, Vezra, Fast Lane Psychos. As another bike comes by on the inside, but Kevin and I are running exactly the same speeds. We're running 14s. Maybe dip into the 13s, but I think we're running solid 14s. And he gave me one of the best battles coming by on the inside now. It's the hippie. And what do you mean by a hippie? Well, he's a long-haired Southern boy. And that's Steve Green, and he is racing with Zyvex. They're from L&J, Georgia, and they're sponsored by Zyvex, Pirelli, Cycle One, and they're on a 600 Yamaha. As we make it through the carousel, heading out the fastest part of the racetrack. You get up to 150 miles an hour. Go by this 650 coming by now, flashing by. That was Team Velocity Racing, number 1. They're running in 4th place. Vezra is leading in the 2nd hour. Aren't You Racing is 2nd. 5150 is running 3rd. Team Velocity is running 4th. Delke Motorsports 5th. Red Star is 6th. LOC is 7th. Team Velocity Racing 2 is 8th. Team Max's is 9th, and Velocity Crew Racing is running in 10th place. Team Chicago, we have moved up to 20th. The 4 and 6 prepared Yamaha R6 is running absolutely perfect. I'm having a great time right here at Nelson Ledges. Let's go check out what's going on in the pits. Coming in the pits now and running 2nd place is Aren't You Racing. Aren't You Racing. They're sponsored by Michelin as they change these Michelin tires. They're going to do a 2-tire change. Bell Suzuki, Motorex, Leo Vinch, Braking, Sunstar, RK, Spiegler, SBS, Motion Pro, PIAA lighting system. They've got the complete deal. Quasar, More Stays, Traction Dynamics, Votex, Chicken Hawk, Hyper Pro, Downspout, GP Composites, LP, Millennium Graphics. As they're changing this front wheel, now you got to understand that they are running super stock legal, so they do not have the trick stuff, but they are making a great progress changing these tires. They are doing a great job as they pin up the clips. And it looks like Mark Kozer is going to be taking it out one more time. He is flying out there, and he's going to try to chase down WERA Suzuki. Ball is running a great race, turning 13s. Him and Pete have really made this great. And as we wrap up 3 hours of racing, it is WERA, Aren't You, 5150, Team Velocity, Delkay Motorsport, and Team Chicago. We have moved up to 19th place. And as we approach the halfway point in the race, we can see the WERA Suzuki up front, and now it's my time on the Team Chicago R6. A little bit past 8 o'clock p.m., the sun is starting to set in the west. As I make it through turn 3 and 4 and head out towards the carousel, go through turn 5 here, 6 takes you into the carousel, 7 and 8. You see the sun is setting in the west. As we head through the carousel, get on the gas, drop low, down the back chute. It's a little bit light as we get out of the tree line. You see the headlights are starting to be working as I go through the kink that leads us into turn 12. And before you know it, darkness has fallen over eastern Ohio, and it is time to race using your headlights right here at Nelson Ledges. Into turn 13 and 14 one more time. Head down the front straightaway. Lights are working. Front straightaway is the only place that there is a light on the racetrack. As I head into the first corner, bike is coming out of the pits. They're going to hook up behind this bike. But WERA Suzuki, 5 hours of racing, they are leading 256 laps. Second place, 4 laps down, is Aren't You Racing, 252 laps, 251 laps. Is 5150. This is the battle in that heavyweight super stock class between Aren't You and 5150. Team Velocity is 3 laps back on that 1000 R1. Team Velocity 2 is leading that middleweight super stock class. They're in 5th. LOC is right with them. They're on the same lap, 246 laps. Red Star is leading middleweight super bike. They've got 3 laps over. Velocity Crew is running 7th and 8th, so that's that class. Delkay is in 9th. Ghetto Customs is 10th. Wilkie's 11th, and Blue Ridge is 12th. 1 lap separating those 2 lightweight superbike. Pete Smakala is now on the Team Chicago R6 as we watch these bikes going through turn 3 and 4 and out to the carousel in the back. You can see it is very dark at Nelson Ledges. And now let's check out, see what's going on during the 6th hour with this WERA National Endurance. WERA Suzuki, Aren't You, 5150 is 3rd. Team Velocity still 4th. Red Star, during the 6th hour, Red Star has moved to 5th place. LOC has moved to 6th, and LOC is now leading that middleweight superstock class. Team Velocity Racing is dropped 3 laps behind LOC. Delkay is running in 8th place. Ghetto Customs has now moved up to 9th, 1 lap down. Blue Ridge Performance. This battle in the lightweight superbike class is heating up. We got Matt LeFew as we see these bikes going through turn 4 and 5, heading out towards the carousel. The headlights coming towards you, and then they turn into turn 4 and 5. As we see Zyvex in, that's Steve Green. He's turned the bike over to JB. Zyvex Racing, Zyvex Mode Release, that's what Zyvex is all about. Pirelli, Psycho 1, Votex, SBC, JB Lehman's going to be taking over from Steve Green as they change both front and rear tires. They're running heavyweight super stock, I believe, and because they're running super stock, they have no trick setup for changing the tires. Suzuki comes in and makes their final pit stop. 1 hour left in the race. Vesra Suzuki, Pirelli, Nielsen Enterprise, Traction, Penske, Votex, DID, Maxima, Factory Pro Tuning, Fujiko, Vanson, R-Tech Fuel, GBR stabilizers and hot bodies as they fire it up and head on out. Vesra Suzuki, they have averaged over 100 miles an hour out here as the bikes continue to race through turn 3 and 4. As we get into the final few minutes of this race. Up front, as we see the bikes coming into turn 13 and 14, but Vesra has really dominated. They have gone 404 laps. As we see the Vesra Suzuki, check that. That could be 5150. And Joe Ball on the Team Chicago 4 and 6 prepared Yamaha. So we wait for the flag man, but it's Vesra Suzuki, Aren't You Racing, 5150. Team Velocity Racing, LOC Endurance, Red Star, Team Velocity Racing, Delphi Motorsport, Ghetto Customs, Wilkie Racing, and Blue Ridge in 11th. Weapons of Workshop, Team Max's, Ridge Racing, and Team Chicago. Getting the checkered flag, ending 8 hours at Nelson Ledges, the Bridgestone WERA National Endurance as the bikes head back into the pits, and that's it from Nelson Ledges.
For more information on WERA, America's road race leader, WERA, Western Eastern Road Race Association, check them out on their website at WERA.com or call them at 770-720-5010. For information on Nelson Ledges on Facebook, it's Nelson Ledges Race Complex. Don't forget TeamChicago.tv, WalkWithDan.com.